Where do you want? Where you? Here,
like
here.
about this distance.
Okay.
I don't know if that helps.
No, it does. I'll just do it. Is it directional? Okay.
Yeah, no. All I know is point it upwards and towards your mouth.
That helps. Thank you.
Point it towards your mouth.
You guys, these are audiobook narrators. I have no idea what these mics
Is
do.
this a cardioid?
Oh my god.
No, I'm just
I thought I was interviewing you guys, not the other way around. All right. I might get criticized for my microphone usage after this, but
No.
we didn't bring our own, so
oh my god.
taking it away when I'm done with you.
Or if he's like, you don't want him to talk anymore, just like take it away.
Yeah. It'll happen.
All right.
Like Justin, just grab it.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, friends. Welcome. So today is a very exciting day because actually, before I say anything, I'm Vana. For those who do not know me, wow, words are hard. I am the owner of Vanaverse. It is a series where I interview authors, but now we're branching out to audiobook narrators. So this is actually the first Verse and Voices event that is featuring audiobook narrators. So I've been looking forward to this. I am an audiobook girly. This is how I read my books. So this is so exciting. I actually met Paige and PJ at Simple Signings earlier this year. So it was so exciting to meet them. But yeah, so for those of you who do not know Paige and PJ, they're a husband and wife duo. They've co-narrated books such as As Above, So Below by D.M. Darcy, When Life Gives You Lemons by Talis Jones, and as well as some solo narrations such as A Showgirl's Rules for Falling in Love and The Woodsman. So they've done a ton together, but also some solo books, which is awesome. So this event, the way it's going to work is we're going to do an interview first. It's going to be about 30 to 40 minutes or maybe longer, depending on how much you would like to share with us. And then we're going to turn it over to you guys to ask, if you guys have any questions. Feel free to ask your questions. I know there are some aspiring narrators in the audience and some current narrators in the audience. So this is a great opportunity for you guys to network and get to know more about the narrating world. After that, Paige and PJ will do a little narration live for you guys of As Above, So Below.
It will be family friendly.
It doesn't have to be, but we're all 18 and plus here, so it's good.
I know, but then like our friends are like, and bye.
Oh, well, never mind. Just, close your eyes. And then after that, PJ and Paige brought some cards with the books that they have narrated together and solo. So if you guys want to take a look at those after, you are more than welcome to. So yeah, without further ado, we're going to start the questions. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right.
So ready. So ready.
This is going to be a very fun conversation. All right. So either of you can answer. You guys can decide who goes first. But the first question is, what role did books or storytelling play in your lives growing up?
They were a huge part of my life. My dad taught me to read actually when I was like 3 or 4. So it was a huge part of my growing up. I was voted best reader in kindergarten. It's like,
you go, girl. Yes.
Award to date. So let's just pretend that was the universe telling me something and I just ignored it for the next 35 years. But yeah, I mean, I had, the Little House on the Prairie books that I was reading when I was, so huge. Yeah. No, I'm good. Here,
Okay, yeah. The storytelling has been like an important part of my life for the longest time. It's why I got into acting. And I can kind of, and this is going to sound weird, but I can take it back to the show Star Trek: The Next Generation. And I know that makes no sense, but for me, I would watch that show, and that show always had a new planet of the week, a new alien of the week, and a new moral dilemma that they would have to go through. And me as a kid, I'd be watching it and putting myself through that moral dilemma. And I learned more about my own set of morals from watching that and deciding how I would go through there by empathizing with the characters that were there. And so storytelling became very important to me because I see it as a way that other people can jump into a story, empathize with someone else outside of their own being, and start to understand the world in a better way. I think we really changed the world through storytelling. And so it's followed me ever since I was a kid, and I made it my career.
That's awesome. Okay, so do you remember the first book that made you think, I want to be part of stories like this someday?
In terms of like audiobooks,
Yes.
or
Like just being part of the book world in any way.
I didn't even know the book world as it is existed until I started narrating audiobooks.
Okay.
So, I mean, I always thought it would be cool to do, but like, how do you do it? Like, I had no idea until, 2020. So, and then one of my authors was like, "Hey, get on TikTok." And I was like, "I'm a little old for that, kind of." And she was like, "Get on TikTok." And I was like, "Yes, ma'am." And then I found like the book world.
Yeah.
So, I guess if I had to say an inspiration, it was one of our authors who hired us telling me to get on there and finding that.
What genre did this author write?
MC Romance.
All right.
It was my third book and his very first one. And it is 35 hours.
Wow. 35 hours?
Yeah.
Yes. It was supposed to be 40, but it was our first project, so we talked real fast.
Yeah.
You've listened to it. Remember, the main character's named after you.
Oh, is it the Savior?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Oh,
That's my very first book.
wow. So that was the first book you narrated.
Yeah, in her third.
That is awesome. Oh my gosh. I love for those of you who don't know, I'm going to grab this really fast if I can. Okay. The book is Savior. It is a motorcycle romance. Fun fact, the main character, her name is Vana. That's how I that's how I got into it. Yeah. It's hilarious. But yeah, it's great. And the author Jennifer, she's so sweet. I met her at Simple Signings when I met Paige and PJ.
Yeah,
and
she's like she said, she's the reason that we're in Book Talk World is because of
that's
her.
awesome.
Yeah, I had no idea.
She kind of forced us to. She's like, you're gonna get in there and you're gonna meet people. So
PJ, was there a book that you grew up and you were like, hey, this is what I want to do? Or
I wouldn't say that I knew
okay.
that I would end up as an audiobook narrator. I think like most people, we know for a fact, every one of us knows for a fact that our voice isn't good enough to do audiobook narration. We all think that, right? I think that's one of the normal things I meet everyone. Like, oh, I don't have the right voice for it. In fact, when she asked me to audition for the first time, I was like, who wants to hear my voice? And so, no, that was never in my brain. But I think the first book that I can remember, the first book that I can remember that I really fell in love with, or the first series of books would be Isaac Asimov, the Foundation series. And that's what made me fall in love with books. But again, we didn't have a book world back then. It was just, I went to the library and got books. Now this world of book talk and social media is so much more it is really its own world where you can just meet people and join. But no, we had no clue that this is where we would be. And we're very happy that we fell into this world.
Yeah, and I love that you guys do it together. Not all the time, but most of the time you guys do it together, and I love that. So let's talk a little bit about that. So what was the moment or moments leading up to when you guys decided, hey, I want to go into audiobook narration? You were saying it was TikTok, but what made you say, I'm going to go ahead and audition for my first one?
COVID.
Yeah.
COVID made us do lots of things.
Yeah, because theater did not exist anymore. And so I was working for the Zahn. First I was driving and then I was in the warehouse, and those are like 11-hour shifts in a windowless factory. So I had the not a loud earbud in my ear covered by a headband, and I would just listen to audiobooks the entire time. And then in 2021, I went up to see my dad, and he and I were listening actually to the same series because it was available on Audible Plus. It's the Helldivers series narrated by R.C. Bray. And we just got to talking about like narrators, and then he stopped and he said, I think you'd be a good narrator. And I went, And I did a deep dive into research. I listened to podcasts, and I ended up reaching out to Jeff Kafer, who has narrated like 700, 800 audiobooks. And he offered a free, like a 10-minute consultation. And you read for him, he gave feedback, and then he said, yeah, I think you've got chops. I think you can do this. And I was like, cool. And so I signed up for training. We built a PVC pipe booth with sound blankets, and we went from there. And here we are.
So you started first.
I did.
Okay. And so what about you, PJ? When was your...
I mean, I know eventually we'll get to this story, but yeah, it was just, she got a job. She got a job with Jennifer and for Savior, and the author said, I love your voice. You're the person I want, but I haven't found a guy yet. Do you happen to know any guys who could possibly audition for this? And she just looked over.
I might know a guy.
I might know a guy.
So basically you were voluntold.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
He was voluntold.
All right.
And he did it because obviously he is an MC romance main character. But yeah, she loved him, and yeah, here we are.
Oh, that was a great, like, it just threw you into the deep end, right?
Yeah, 40-hour book. Go just do it.
Yeah, and it was a 40-hour book
Yeah.
too. That is very
Trial by fire.
sure. Yeah, that's one way to look at it. So was there any fears or doubts or hesitations going into narrating your first audiobook?
Oh yeah, tons. Am I good enough? Is my editing good enough? Why are people hiring me? I'm not good enough. Like, is my accent okay? Is my sound okay? Just, yeah, so much constantly still. It doesn't go away.
Yeah.
That's the imposter syndrome is because you care. If you don't have imposter syndrome, you don't care.
I think we need that quote on a t-shirt. If you have imposter syndrome, it means you care. And if you don't, it means you don't care.
Which, I mean, that's
not
not entirely true, but it makes me feel better about myself. So.
PJ, do you have any hesitations or fears when you first
I think she said it very well. I think we're always afraid. Every time that we take on any project, we want to give it our best. And because we desire to give it our best, we're worried that we might not be good enough. But I mean, that's, like you said, it means we care.
Yeah, awesome. All right. So let's talk a little bit about what it was like when you first started getting into it and started auditioning for your first book. So what did it look like getting into narration? Like before you have all this equipment and the clients, like what did it look like for you trying to just figure out where to start?
So I deep dove into like research. I was listening to podcasts. I was reading, all those websites that are like, oh, so you want to be an audiobook narrator. Sean Allen Pratt has a video on YouTube called that, where it's like, if you want to be an audiobook narrator, lock yourself in a closet for 2 hours every day for 2 weeks in the dark and start reading. And every time you make a mistake, start the sentence over. If you still like it at the end of whatever time he says, then you should probably invest in some equipment and you can do this. Otherwise, if you don't like it, don't, because that's what you're going to be doing. And I was like, I love reading in a closet by myself, actually. So I'm good. This is great. But yeah, and I had signed up again for training right from the get-go. And that training included not only performance coaching, but also business coaching and software coaching. So I kind of had all that to start with to help me kind of build into that. It taught me to do the engineering and that kind of thing. And then I taught him by proxy.
So you basically just went along with what she was saying.
Absolutely.
All right.
No, she's a font of knowledge. Even now, I always just go along with what she says.
All right. I see this is a lot of like, you lead the way, and then he just kind of like, sure, honey, whatever you tell me to do.
That's very true.
All right. I feel like that's most marriages. So what were the biggest misconceptions you had about the job when you first started? Was there anything you expected that you were like, oh, or maybe something you didn't expect when you first started?
I have one right off the bat. It's that when you go into anything, especially as an actor, I already have a breadth of knowledge about acting and what I think it should be. And so I thought that it would pretty much be a 1-for-1 kind of transfer. Like I just bring my knowledge in and I'll have to learn some software and that'll be it. But the concept of audiobooks is entirely different than stage work in many ways that we would learn as we'd go about. I think, for instance, Savior is a good example. My very first book. We listen to it now and we're like, why are we talking so fast? We're like speeding through it. And because of it, and you'll hear a book that we do now where we just take our time, and it has nothing to do with making the book longer or anything like that. It has all to do with finding those moments that you pull the audience in with silence, or you extend, or you give yourself a slower speed so that you can speed up when it gets more anxious. Those things are really important in audiobooks because all you have is to listen to. And so those pacing things is just one small example of the thousands of things we've learned when we got in this, that we, at least for me, I had misconceptions going in of what I would need to know. And we're still learning to this day, and we're still trying to learn.
Part of it, I think, is a little bit of hubris. I fully expected to be like fully booked by the big 5 within like 2 months. But no, I mean, that's a goal, right? It was 3 months. It did. But no, I think going in not realizing who your audience is, how much you need to network, and how much that the business is a hustle. It's not a side hustle where you're like, oh, let me do like a little chapter here and a chapter there. I'm going to make mad money. Like, no, it can be part-time. It absolutely can be. But for full time, it is a constant hustle. It never stops. So I think learning the business aspect and also trying to turn it off now is really, really difficult. So,
well, I feel like that's something that like even authors experience. Like a lot of the times, the like debut authors that I speak to, they always say like, "Oh, I thought my job was just to write the book and publish it."
Right.
But then they're like, "Oh, I have to market it. I have to like promote myself on social media. I have to donate a kidney to like get people to write the book." So it's a lot. Well, maybe not the kidney, but you know, but it's a lot that you have to learn. It's not just how you guys were saying, just like on like narrating the book itself. There's a lot of preparation that goes into it, a lot of training your voice for all the different because every character has like a different tone and a different what is it, octave. You guys know more than I do. I don't want to be criticized, but yeah, it's just it takes a lot than just reading words on a page is what I wanted to say. Okay, awesome. So Paige, you said Savior was your third book, but I'm really curious to know, what was it like to audition for your first book? Can you walk us through what that process was like? I know you said you were already doing coaching and things, but
yeah. So it was logging into ACX, which is the Audible Creative Exchange, making a profile, and on that, authors can post auditions, and they put their budget, etc. And so I would just go through and find things. I'm like, oh, I like the sound of that. That sounds fun. I think I could do that. And going from there. And I mean, I think at the time I probably spent a couple hours on my first few auditions, whereas now I'm like, and 5 minutes go. Like, so you definitely learn. It was nerve-wracking. It was my first inquiry. I didn't audition first. She was like, oh, I like your samples. Can you send me an audition? I did not get that job. But yeah, it was just, it's nerve-wracking, but it's a different kind of nerve-wracking than like theater. Theater, I'm sitting there like, all right, they hate me, everybody's watching me, and like in here, like I can do that in the booth, and then like in the microphone, like I can do a retake. I can audition as many times as I want with the same.
So how does the auditioning work? Do you is it just that you, like how you said on that website, you see like, is like, does the author provide like a sample on this website and you just submit an audio recording?
Yeah, they put up a script. Sometimes they include like character notes, like accent, the names, or like ages, characteristics like personality traits, which help inform you about the kind of voice that they might have. For example, someone upbeat might talk a little bit faster than somebody who's more low key and kind of like an observer. And you make those decisions, and if the author likes you, maybe they cast you.
Sounds simple enough, right?
Yeah.
No pressure or anything.
Yeah.
So you were saying that you were going through like a list and seeing, okay, like which one sounds most interesting to you. Is that how you still choose your books, or is there a different method or strategy that you guys go on when you decide to narrate a book?
I think when we started, a lot of it was a shotgun approach, where pretty much the very first time you're looking, it's like, I want to audition for everything I see because I want a job. And then later, after you have some work, then you start getting, I want to do this one, I want to do that one. So it becomes more selective. We're past that point now where we don't select things; people select us. They're like, we would like you for this, and we're like, okay, thank you. And we're just so grateful to be sought after that we're excited to audition for them. So I think I think most of our work right now, we still go out trying to find people, but most of it is interacting with the audience on social media and them finding us that way, and then authors finding us and saying, we'd like you to do our book. I don't think I haven't looked on ACX or other places for a while. We also made relationships with producers who they contact us on a regular basis saying, can you audition for this job? So that's where most of our work comes from now.
Yeah, I think my last ACX audition was in July of 2024.
Wow. So you guys have just been like getting requested by authors up until, wow, that is awesome.
It's blessed.
I was gonna say, how does that make you feel? Like going from requesting like an audition to them saying, hey, I want you. Like, what's that?
It's fantastic and unbelievable. Like, I was still like, wait, are you sure though? Like you have heard us, right? Like,
are you sure?
And honestly, the first thing that we do, especially if it's someone who it's our first time working with us, if they come to us and they say, I really want you, our first thing that we tell them is, let us audition. Okay. And audition someone else too. Audition as many people. In fact, I'll give you a list of great narrators that we know, because just because you like us doesn't mean you might not find someone even better. And so I think it's really important to audition, not just go for the people you love, right? Because you could find something new that you never knew you're going to find. And so we're really we love the audition process. So even when we are selected, we like to win the job.
Right. You like to give other people a chance.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not about, I mean, we can only narrate so many books, right? We only have so much time in the world, and we would love to do all of them, but we can't. So I would rather you find the right voice, whether or not that's us, which is why I'm always like, okay, I love that you love us. I love that you love our work, but the work I'm narrating that you've watched or listened to might not be your work, and I might not be the right person. So yeah, I would always ask for an audition.
You probably are,
but I wasn't though. No, I mean, but most recently we had an author who she requested us specifically through a publisher, and we got that book. And she came to me. She's like, "Hey, I want you to audition for the heroine of my next book, but I'm not entirely sure you're right." And I was like, "Okay." I looked at it and I was like, "I don't think I am, but here's the audition." And she came back. She's like, "Yeah, it's not quite right." I was like, "Cool. You know who would be this femme narrator over here?" And she auditioned that narrator, and she's like, "Oh my God, she's perfect." So like having that connection, the rising tides, lift all boats. And having the author be happy and also accept, I made a video about this, but like having them accept that I knew what I was talking about. Like, oh, no, here's who you need. That's a really cool feeling too. Like, it's not just about being cast and doing the work. It's about community and giving authors what would serve them best without being selfish.
What's more important to us than us doing the job is making sure that story is told the best way it can be told.
Right.
And so we're excited to be a part of that process, whether it be finding the right person or being that person.
And it sounds sycophantic. I promise we mean it.
No, we really.
So you guys narrate a lot of books together, but what about like the ones that you do apart? Is it the same process? Do you still have them say, hey, like if they request you, do you still say, okay, I'm going to audition and submit it? Is it the same process when you guys do it individually?
Yep.
All right. Once you get a book and you're signed for it, you guys are the narrators. How do you go about preparing for actually narrating the book? Do you guys have a process? Do you guys have like a ritual that you do every time you get ready to narrate the book? Walk us through what it looks like.
Around the bonfire. I don't know.
Light the ritual. Sacrifice to the cats. Yeah. I mean, we always read the book. You cannot craft a story if you don't know the story. So, reading that. I highlight my lines in different colors, whatever the vibe of the character, they get that color. If there's accents, researching accents, and sometimes they get real specific on what the accent is. If it's like dual or something, we have to coordinate how we sound. Cause like in dual narration, that would be like where you have two POV chapters and let's say a man and a woman, and he would be doing the man's chapters. I would do the woman, but within those chapters, we are still voicing every single character. So there needs to be coordination. So like if his character has a Southern North Carolina accent, I need to coordinate with him to be like, where are you lengthening the vowels? Are you dropping your G's? It's not going to sound exactly the same because I'm just telling you my side of the story in a dual POV, but those indicators still need to be there, and that kind of collaboration still needs to happen. Whereas like in duet, there should be some collaboration, so you kind of know the characters, the impetus and what the other person sees, so you understand what they're saying to you, because duet is not often done synchronously, though we can. But you need to understand both characters in order to have a conversation with them, even if that person is not in the room with you.
Yeah. How is this? So I just have a quick follow-up. So when you guys are not doing it together and you're doing it with, let's say, another male narrator or a female narrator, how does that work in terms of like connecting with them? Because you're not in the same room. So how does that work in terms of like the duet versus the dual narration?
So for dual, I generally will send like, how do you want to divvy this up? Do you want to, for example...
Can you tell us the difference between dual and duet?
I just did. You were reading.
I was reading.
Yeah.
Sorry. Thank you.
Yeah.
Please go.
Come on, PJ.
I just want to make sure we...
Yeah. So for dual, generally an email like, hey, what do you want to take? Do you want to do, for example, do you want to do all the male voices and I do all the female voices? Do you want to do the characters that are in your chapters? I'll do the ones in mine, and we'll see where there's overlap and go from there. And then I'll... record some samples, but here's how I think they sound. What do you think they sound like? And then we each have access to each other's files as a reference point. Duet, if he's doing all the male voices and I'm doing all the female voices, I'll be like, hey, how do you hear this guy? Just like in terms of personality. But I don't need a whole lot more in duet if it's not. So dual is, I think, the hardest one and is so underappreciated. Because you have to find the common ground on the characters, but it also has to be different enough that you understand that you're telling your side of the story. That makes sense.
That's what I said.
Okay.
The duet and the duel, do you guys decide that, or does the author decide if they want a duet or a duel?
The author.
The author decides.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because duet does cost more.
Oh, okay.
It takes more engineering. Generally it is not recorded synchronously, so you're not in the same room. And then you're paying the narrators for only their portions. But there's so much that affects that right now. For example, are they members of the union? If there are additional fees for that now for putting it together that went into effect in April. How long is the book? If you want synchronous, then you're paying each of them for the whole length of the book, not just their recorded portion. So, for example, it's a 10-hour book, and I've got 5 hours, and he's got 5 hours. Asynchronous, you're going to pay us each for 5. Fully synchronous, you're going to pay us each 10. So the engineering costs more. If I send a solo book or a dual book, he has our things. He doesn't have to equalize anything really. For duet, he's splicing them together. So he costs more for that. So duet is more expensive than dual.
Wow, I did not know that. I knew it was expensive, but I didn't know that was why. That's crazy. But I love duet narration so much. I love it.
There's a place for it. Like dual gets such a bad rap, but I think
Yeah.
the story needs to inform that decision. It can't just be like, oh, I want to hear the male voice because it makes me all tingly. Like it can't be. Well, I mean, there are times and places for that. But for example, if you have a thriller, then duet may not make sense because you've got each person's point of view.
Mhm.
And, if there's a plot twist, that person can't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it makes more sense to have it be dual at that point because you don't know what they're thinking. And there's something about the interpretation of what somebody says to you versus what they really mean that you can kind of lean into when you're doing dual.
That is so interesting. That makes a lot of sense because, like in romantasy, for example, we love the duet because we love hearing the male's perspective and the male's voice, of course, and the female, of course. But I never thought of it for it depends on the genre and the type of book that would determine if it's better to do dual or duet. I feel like a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, there might even be a case in romantasy where, because of that perspective might be important to telling that story, where it might be important to be solo or dual versus duet.
Yeah.
We've the what is it? Savior actually was a modified duet where it was both dual and duet, and that all the characters we did as a dual. It's a dual. But the only one character, our main characters, we actually voiced them in each other's dual perspective. And that's because it's a thriller first, and that perspective is really important.
That is so cool. Wow. This is so interesting to learn. So in terms of your relationship with the authors, what does that collaboration look like? Do you guys send them a chapter by chapter breakdown? How does that work with the author as you're narrating their book?
For indie is going to be a little bit different than working with producers and publishers. For indie, you are a team, you are collaborative. There is a level of control and trust that the author needs to give up and be a little hands off. Like for ACX specifically, it says the 15-minute sample. Those are the time that the author makes changes, makes requests. So when we do a sample, generally we're like, here are all the character voices. And please let me know if there are characters in further books, because if I give him something like, well, it sounds like this, and then he's a first person POV in another book, I'm probably not going to do that. So that kind of thing is where you hammer out that there's really not a lot of micromanaging, like mispronunciations, corrections, or did I completely misinterpret a line? I'll fix that. But other than that, the creative control was given to me when I was selected to do the book. Now that said, we do have authors, especially that we're close with. Sometimes we'll be like, hey, here are the chapters. You can listen as you go. If you hear something wonky, let us know. That kind of stuff. But generally speaking, it's kind of a hands-off.
And when it's through a producer like Macmillan or Podium, then they really are hands-off. They hand it entirely over to you. They get all the files. You almost never talk to the author at all.
And we can get in trouble if we talk to the author.
Really?
Yeah.
So what if you want to learn more about it? Do you have to go through the publisher to?
Yeah. We can ask the publisher to make contact with the author if we want to have contact with the author. But everything needs to go through the publisher because they want to know what's going on with their book. They don't want things happening behind their backs.
Right. I would think that it's you set up, I don't know, a Zoom call or something and have the publisher and the author.
And they will do that.
Generally, you can ask the publisher, be like, hey, can I contact them or whatever? And as long as they know it's happening, and everything is on the up and up, and you'd be like, hey, we talked about this and these are the decisions we made, versus being like, hey, I'm So as long as the producer is in the loop, generally it's okay, but they do kind of frown upon that.
Okay.
Creative control, let's give it up.
So what do you guys prefer? Do you prefer to keep in contact with the author and message them like regularly to update them? What do you guys prefer? And do you want them to like be like, hey, I'll leave you guys alone. You guys do your thing. Let me know when it's done.
I just finished up Legion, which is the third book in that Saviors thing that we keep talking about.
Yes.
And every single day that I was working on stuff, as I'd finish the chapters, I would upload it to our server, and she had access to that server. She would read it. She would send me texts on what she liked and what any mistakes that she heard, and we had a constant dialogue. That is ideal. I love a situation where I can trust the author and the author can trust me, and we can have a constant dialogue and collaboration. It's rare, but I think it's the most ideal situation because it is a collaboration between it's her and my collaboration of a performance.
Right.
She's the writer, I'm the performer, and we get to come together to build this together, and that's ideal.
Has there been any challenges when you say to the author, yes, I'll narrate your book? Has there ever been a challenge where you struggle to maybe connect with the character or find any obstacles that in the way while you're narrating their book?
Yeah. You have to get over them because you're the one telling the story. And even if the person that you're portraying is not making the decisions you would, you are not you in that situation. So you have to dig deep and kind of understand why those decisions are happening. And it can be difficult. Like the people who are very emotionally driven and make decisions where I'm like, why would you ever do that? It may drive me insane. But I have to take a step back and be like, here's why they're doing it. Here's their trauma. Here's their background. They made those decisions for a reason. And it's not on me to judge those things. You have to love the story, as you say. You have to love the story and you have to love the characters in order to do a good job. And you have to find those reasons, even if it's harder.
I think the biggest obstacles that I've come across have been self-imposed obstacles, specifically picking a character voice that I have to maintain for a long period of time that I should have picked a more healthy voice. Because when your guy talks like this for a long time, eventually your voice is going to wear down.
Yeah.
That's a self-imposed obstacle I've created for myself.
Yes, you did.
So I have a question, but I'm going to put a pin in it. Hopefully I remember it. But I did want to talk about, I do have it here. Okay, so we're good. So what does a typical day look like for you guys? Let's say, for example, you guys are narrating a book together. Walk us through from morning to night. What does it look like for recording day?
Well, I am woken up by one of my cats at around 6:30, in which case I get up and I leave the room and I go out and I sleep on the couch with that cat. And then about 9 o'clock, I wake up for real. And then we take care of all of the other cats. We do the cat shuffle where he goes in his room for the day and we bring the other 4 up from the basement.
We have 6 cats. 4 of them get along. 2 of them need to be separate. So there's a shuffle of the cats around the house as we go. We want to give them all time with us because they're all codependent. Everyone.
Every single one. Yeah. So it starts with that. And then and meanwhile, I'm brewing my pot of coffee because one cannot start the day without a full pot of coffee.
That's right.
He comes out around 10:30.
Oh, no.
Something around there.
9:30 to 10.
Yeah. So then there's, I don't know, maybe running, maybe lunch, but we're usually in the booth by 1 or 2 p.m.
Okay.
And then we kind of complete whatever we need to complete or don't until 9 p.m. because 9 p.m. is when the other 4 gremlins go downstairs and the cat shuffle goes in reverse from what it is in the morning. So
yeah, we work depending on the day. Some days I'll get in as early as 10 and work till 9. Some days it's 1 to 9, but I think that's about a good example of our day.
Yeah. And so we're at least in the booth at least 5 to 6 hours a day.
Wow, 5 to 6 hours. So it's like a full 9 to 5 job.
Oh yeah.
And that's just recording because there's prep going on. There's marketing. There's updating samples, updating websites. There's social media. I love social media.
Right. Yeah. Social media. We love it, right? Yeah. Especially the content creation part. Oh yeah. So are there any what goes into the prep? Do you guys do vocal warm-ups together? How do you get your voice ready to sound so raspy?
The way that when we drove here, we put on K-pop Demon Hunters and sang it at the top of our lungs. That's a normal warm-up for us.
My husband watched it recently. He loves the movie.
It's so good.
It's amazing.
It's an amazing movie.
I didn't
No
expect you to love it as much as he did. That's
We're
awesome.
obsessed with it. We've seen it like 4 times.
Yep.
Okay, good.
I mean, the TikTok like auto cut whatever that I did before we came here used golden, and I was like, "That's right."
Yeah.
So
The automatic.
the automatic like template, whatever,
That is
used
correct.
golden as the sounds,
Well
and I was
done.
like, "Yes,
Well done.
yes."
So is it mostly just singing that you do to warm up? Do you do like any vocal exercises?
We actually met as singers. I started when I was touring with a company out of Richmond, and because I was based in Richmond, I was like, I'm going to get a singing job while I'm in town. I found a church that was offering it, and she happened to work there. I met her and fell in love with her, and so and that's how we met. She then joined me with the company. But during that time, we started off our life as singers, and so we've always been warming up every day. We know what a warm up is, and so often you'll hear us walking around the house doing our warm ups, whatever. And it's really annoying them. Our cats love it, I'm sure.
All 6 of them.
All 6 of them. It's. I think singing is the way we go about our warm up. And that's not the same for every actor, every narrator. I think everyone has their own way to do it, but ours is based in the singing world.
Yeah, my singing exercises like include articulator exercises. So you're going to be doing things like lip trills or tongue trills if you can't do lip trills like me. Straw phonation, if you've got straw blowing bubbles into water, helps. It's a semi-occluded vocal exercise. It helps loosen all of that up. Articulation, like using your tongue, like like those stretches, like like that up. But they help. So all of that is part of like my normal singing warm up. That's just stuff that I learned there. But yeah, making sure that your consonants are coming out correctly, but not too much because you don't want to pop the mic. And
that's so cool that you guys are singers and you guys end up being narrators. You guys use your voice a lot. Wow.
Honestly, it's not abnormal. A lot, I would say. About 70% of the narrators I've come across started off as singers, specifically the younger ones, the ones that have started within the last 10 years.
Really?
Most of them come out, start from singers and move to that. Classical singing, too. Yeah. I don't know why.
The opera to audiobook narration pipeline is like...
Yeah.
Okay, so once people are done with their singing, they go into narrating.
I don't know why.
Is there anything during your preparation process for recording day that maybe people would find surprising that you do? Is there anything like out of the ordinary besides the cats?
That's out of the ordinary?
Well,
I don't think so.
No, I don't think it's pretty boring. Yeah, I can't think of anything.
I mean, other than like you'll hear us if you go outside of our house, but like warming up.
Your neighbors must love you. Right? All right. So we were talking a little bit about your collaboration with the author. So you were saying some are less they let you kind of do your own thing, or some of them want more collaboration while you're narrating. So by chapter, for example, how do you show your own creativity? Do you bring out your own personality while narrating, or do you strictly like say, okay, I'm in this mind of this character and I can't bring any of myself into it? Does that happen?
I think this is that's you're asking a question that's the basis of acting. What is acting? And for me, I believe I'm an experiential style of actor in that I draw upon my experiences and my being to perform these roles. That doesn't mean I am me. I mean, I know what I find funny. I know what I find deep. I know what I find impactful. And if I put myself in this person's shoes and live that life up until the moment that I'm saying their stuff, how do I feel in that situation with their experience? So it's still me inside of their experience, whether it be a multitude of characters. That means I will sound drastically different in different situations, just like we are multifaceted beings. But that's where I come from. I think there's a whole other school of acting that says we are an entirely different person and I have to absorb myself and get away from myself. That's not where I come from. I come from what am I feeling and what does this cause me to feel and how can I show you what I'm feeling?
Yeah, I think there's an aspect of ourselves in every single character that we do because we are informed by our experiences and how we would react, like basically like PJ said. And when you're playing somebody totally different, again, I just think there's an aspect of yourself in everything, and then the author cast you for that reason. So even if you're doing something, again, the bright, happy, sunny characters is really not me, if anyone who knows me. But I do have to do that. But they may still be a bit sardonic. They may not be, quite as high and fast as maybe somebody else who is actually like an extrovert. So there's still a part of yourself in all of that. And so when the author has chosen you, I think they kind of understand that that's what they're getting.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense.
I think outside of that, I think I'm not entirely truthful on that because she does an amazing high energy person. All she does to do high energy, she imitates me. And she does a great job. So I think we also take other people in our lives that are important to us and we mimic them in our, because I oftentimes will think, what if I take someone I know inside and out and use their reactions in a portrayal, and that often does work. So
well, but also that's your perception of them as a person as well. So it's still part of yourself.
Still part of it.
But and then they say that's how you develop characters. It's not a voice; they're a person. Make them someone you know, and it will be a more truthful, honest portrayal of said character.
And we were saying we're talking to narrators as well as audience members. That would be the biggest thing that I would tell any narrator is that stop worrying about making a voice. Just be a new person. Be the different person in there. And make sure you maintain their personality. Because their personality will show through the words more than any changing of voice will be.
Absolutely, yeah. I feel you. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say my best friend is my best friend. If I have a best friend in the book, she's modeled after my best friend.
Yeah.
Because that's why she's my best friend. So even if the personalities are not the same, I know her, so I know how she would say something. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. You kind of like use inspiration from your real lives and take it and put it into narrating and becoming that character, which is really cool. And like you were saying, it is very similar to acting because you're playing a part, but you're also taking experiences and people in your own life and their personalities and kind of putting that into that narration, which is awesome. Do you guys bounce like not ideas, but like in terms of when you're prepping for your character and you're trying to get into that zone, do you guys bounce off each other?
Always.
Yeah.
We're always asking each other, how does this sound? What do you think? Hey, can you, and even when we're in the booth, I'll come out and say, Paige, can you look at this? How do I say this? Because I'm not reading this right. We're constantly collaborating on projects that we do together or apart.
That's so sweet. Oh, you guys are so cute. Okay. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this husband and wife duo here. So I know you said you were narrating Savior and then you brought him on. So what was that like in terms of working together for the first time? Was it weird, or you guys were already singing together? But okay, he's gonna tell us a story.
We had one booth. We have one booth at the time, a 3x5 box with one mic, and we thought, wow, we could do this synchronously. I could just go in the booth with you and we could record together. There's no air conditioning in the booth. It's hot. And so we're doing this 40-hour book together in the same booth in a tight space. It takes at least 4 hours to do 1 hour of audio. So we're in there constantly together. It was the best. I loved every second of it. I got to be right next to her and having this it was artistically beautiful moment.
Awful. Yeah, it was awful. Oh my God, it was so bad because somebody can't read. So the reason it takes 4 hours is because somebody can't read. And I'd be like, okay, we're starting that line again. Nope, we're starting. Oh my God, it's hot in here and I'm sweating so much. This is disgusting. Oh, look, a cat's beating on the door. It was not.
That's like overstimulation at its finest.
Yes, like
oh my God.
Violence rises when there's a heat wave, and there was a heat wave in that booth every single day.
I loved every
Oh my God, it was awful.
I love how he was like, I loved it. She's like, oh my God, it was like the worst time of my life.
And also, like,
I got to be around her for like hours and hours and hours and hours.
I was also engineering this one. Like, I was editing it as well. So I was in the booth for that too. And our vocal, he is much louder than I am, if you couldn't tell. So I had to sit there and like equalize our voices because he would be like up on the mic and I'm like, hold on, let me get up here, but not make any noise while I'm moving and under boob sweat. Like, just like it was not pleasant.
Actually, that was a great description. I love that. Paige, you must feel very loved.
Yes.
But that you were saying about the engineering work, that actually sparked a question. So do you guys edit your own work or do you send it to somebody, and I don't know the actual person what they're called, but yes, obviously, yes. So do you do it yourself, or do you usually send it off?
Not anymore. When we first started, I think the first year we did, and as soon as I could outsource that, I did.
It had to do with the amount of work that we had. It saves us time. We can get on to the next project. So hand it off to someone else. Otherwise, we would be spending twice as long on each book. But
it takes 2 or 3 times the amount of time to engineer something as it does to record it.
Okay.
So in the time that it took me, because you have to proof listen, like so to make sure that you haven't made any mistakes, you have to listen through. You've got to make sure there are no cutoff breaths, any outside noises there, which I mean you should be listening for while you're recording, but things get through. And the time plus, oh God, if you're doing it yourself, like you have to listen to yourself. And then you're like, why did I say it like that? No, let me re-record that. And then, so you're in there for another 6 to 8 hours. And so as soon as we could give that to somebody else, we did. But it is like a time cost benefit analysis thing. If you don't have a lot of work, if you're doing it, part-time or whatever, then it's fine. You probably don't need to do it. You can take your time, etc. But as soon as it starts like rolling in, you're like, oh God, I need to get on to the next thing. I want this to be a full-time job or whatever. As soon as you can, send that to an engineer. And they'll do a better job too.
I was going to say, when you find a sound engineer that you can trust, they're going to be far better than what we can do. They just know their job better than we do.
So do you have like a partnered engineer that every time you record, you're like, okay, we're like, you guys are just automatically partnered for every story, or does it change per book?
At first, I had to do a couple different ones because they would be books they would be books for a farther out. And I'd be like, oh gosh, like I have to schedule this, which means like, but now we have one who I just send it to him. And he's like, cool, have it to you in 10 days. And he does. Like he's just fantastic. So
very cool.
He gets a third of our income every year. So
when we started, we tried out a bunch of different sound engineers. And I would expect anyone who's in this business, you should just try out a bunch of different people until you make the relationship you know is going to work.
And they were all great. This one just happened to be like he didn't have a calendar. He was like, yeah, send it to me and I'll get it done. So in the quantity that we were doing, which is lovely, it was just nice to have that.
So this is more so a curious question I have. So when you used to edit and engineer the narration in addition to recording it, does that make it more expensive for the author when they're hiring you? Or okay,
because we are responsible for the entire production. We're going to do that, so you're paying one price for that. If I outsource it, I have to pay some of that money that you gave me to someone else to do it. If I did it myself, I could hold on to that funds, but it's still going to cost us the same either way, whether it be in my time or my money.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. Because I know sometimes there's authors that are like, oh, like I want to find narrators that do like the engineering themselves because it's cheaper. I don't know. It's just some rumors that I've heard.
I mean, it depends. We all set our own prices.
Right.
So we don't change our price regardless, but we also no longer do our engineering. So I would also say that is commensurate with experience and craft. Mm-hmm. Like the better we have gotten, the more experience we've gotten, our prices have also gone up. Mm-hmm. And you're also paying for a professional sound engineer. So yes, they're paying for that, and it's incorporated into the price already.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We have an author that we're going to do for this month that actually does her own sound engineering. She's a sound engineer herself.
Oh, cool.
So that's going to be fun that we get to just do the raw and just send it back to the author.
Right. And that is a lower price because we're not in charge of the finished audio. So we're like, here's the raw stuff. The rest is on you.
Oh, wow.
So we charged her. It's like $150 less because that's what our engineer charges for doing engineering.
Yeah. Okay.
So, costing.
Yeah.
All right. That's good to know. Okay. So I have some fun individual questions before we get into like the reflection part, but Paige, we'll start with you. So what do you think is PJ's greatest strength as a narrator?
Strength.
It wasn't a hard question, guys.
This one is so much easier. It's got so many weaknesses, though. Just strength.
No, I would say honestly the passion for storytelling. Like if he actually spent that as much time narrating as he did ranting about the storytelling, that would be great. No, I'm just teasing. But no, really, the passion and the love and the craft he puts behind guard number 4, who you're never going to hear from again. And he's like, what is their backstory? And I'm like, oh my God. I don't know, baby. Tell me their backstory. So, but no, I do. I love that because it shows that you care, and that's why you're good, even if you do take a long time.
Oh. Very sweet, very sweet. Okay, PJ, so what do you think Paige brings to a project that no one else does?
Receipts. um, she
Not wrong.
she does not get into anything in her life without knowing everything about it. That includes the book. She will know that book inside and out. You could use her as an encyclopedia for that book once she's in there, when she's accepted that. And that's everything she does. When she's in that booth, she understands every part of the process. She understands it from the talking, how best to talk to the author, all the way through how best to produce the book and how to disseminate it, and everywhere in between. I think no one will be a font of information better than her. And because of that, that's why she's such a good narrator, is because she has such a breadth of depth of understanding.
She's like, I do?
And desire to understand everything so that the book is the best it can be.
Thanks, baby.
Oh, that is that is such a beautiful answer. You guys are adorable. Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed. Okay, all right, let's reflect a little bit here. PJ, we can start with you. So, what has narration taught you about understanding human emotions and empathy?
What narration taught me about empathy? Empathy is very important in my life. That's like the most important thing in my life, is understanding, for a second, stopping looking at myself and starting to understand the world through someone else. And so when you say that word, that strikes a big chord in my life. And so anytime that I'm doing a character, the thing that's going through my brain is, how will I do this character so that someone else can understand them and want to jump in their shoes? Whether it be a horrible, there's characters that are doing absolutely horrible things in this book, things that are not okay and that I personally can't accept from this character. But I need them to be so real that the people who are listening to them understand them. So for those moments, I understand them and I empathize with that character very deeply so that my audience can. And so that's the way I'm looking at these characters, is make them, I hate to say likable, but there's a point to it being likable. Not necessarily that they're likable in the traditional sense, but likable in that they're understandable and that I understand why they're making decisions they're making. I can hear their thought process in the way that they're saying it. That's it. It's a big important part of my craft to me.
Yeah, I think we've grown a lot even from when we first started. Like when we first started, we got hit with some dark romance and we were like, what is this? And why is this happening?
You're doing this,
and why are we doing this? Like people do, and now we're like, oh yeah, that's fine. That was last Tuesday. Like the expectation has, and it changed. Like now I understand why. Like doing the research, like, oh well, victims often, read this to help feel empowered. I'm like, oh, I had no idea. That's insane. Like, and it makes so much sense. And I never would have thought about that without being exposed to it. So like now I'm like, I don't care what you read. Like I think there was, to be honest, a part of me that was like kind of judgy when I first started. Now I'm like, no, you do you, read what you want. Like it's a beautiful thing if reading is helping you, like regardless of my thoughts on the actual subject matter. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Let's do it all. So.
Did you want to add?
No, I think you're right. I actually work with another narrator that has gone through SA, and we were doing a book together that had SA in it, and we were recording secretly. And I was like really worried. I was like, we should talk. We should get someone else in the room. And she talked me through it. She's like, listen, this is a way I can cope, and I am comfortable in this controlled environment. And it's because of these stories that I can feel that way. And I thought that's beautiful, that these stories can be empowering and they're not just the worry that people have about them. Is someone gonna read this and do these things? No, they're not for that. They're for the people that need that. And it's beautiful.
It helps like in those situations too, like the synchronous that they do that as continuous roll, which means everything, even the stops, are being recorded. So there's also some semblance of control in that as well. Yeah. A sense of safety in that as well, because the engineer can hear if you step out of line and you won't work again if you do. So there's something to be said for that as well.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. Like how you said, like it was helping her because, a lot of, and I know dark romance specifically gets a lot of opinions, as I'm sure you guys are aware of because there's so many dark topics and so many things that triggering topics is what I wanted to say. And a lot of people think like, oh, like why would you write something like that? Because it's just gonna make other people like it's gonna inspire is a bad word, but make people want to do what they read in that book. And it's like, well, the reason why it's written is because maybe it was therapeutic or for the author, or maybe they wrote it on behalf of someone that knew that they would help. So I feel like, is it the same when narrating it? Is it also a way to therapeutic for you guys, not specifically for the essay, but just in a sense of help healing your own self?
Oh yeah, I just got to do one that was like if little Epstein people got their comeuppance with vigilante justice by women, and I was like, yes! Like I was all about it. Like the amount of like therapy that was describing everything that they did to. Oh yes. Sorry.
We have several. This happens way more than it should, but we'll be reading a book and often this happens live. We'll like read live for people. We'll record live. And we'll just drop into tears because the story is so moving at that point. I find those moments very therapeutic. They're probably not great for recording, but yeah, it can be very therapeutic.
Yeah, awesome. All right, I have 2 more questions here. So either of you guys can start with this one. If you can go back to when you first started auditioning and narrating your first books, what is something you would tell yourself knowing what you know now today?
Do it again, better.
Short.
Do it again, better.
I love it.
No, I mean, honestly, I don't know. I'm relatively happy with my path. I'm relatively happy with. I mean, there are things I hear as where I'm like, ooh, that could have been a lot better. Ooh, what was I thinking? But at the same time, that was part of the learning struggle, part of the learning journey, and if I was just as good then, why do I continue to learn now? So it doesn't, I mean, I would rather be constantly getting better and improving. So hearing that older stuff and knowing where I came from is actually really beneficial because I can be proud of what I've done versus sitting there going, why don't people like me? And that kind of stuff. So I don't know that I would tell myself anything differently.
Okay.
I think I already said it earlier. Slow down. Take your time. Tell the story. Make sure your ambiance is always set. Make sure you're bringing them in with your story instead of pushing your story out. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I could tell myself to slow down.
I would tell myself to slow down.
We'll go with that. It's okay. Yeah. All right. Last question here before we turn it to the audience. What is one piece of advice you would give to aspiring narrators or people thinking about wanting to go into narration?
This job is what you make of it. You can do it part-time if you just want it to be a hobby, and that's fine. That's fine. You can go full-time. It'll take a while and it takes work. It's not easy. It's, like I said, it's a constant hustle. It's constantly working, but you can do it. Just know what you want from it and know from a business perspective what that will take. And that's really it's about being professional. Communicate, don't ghost. Be honest about things. Be forthright. Yeah. How would you want people to conduct business with you?
It's not, I would say, just manage your expectations. This isn't a career for money. You're not going to make a lot of money. This is the blue collar work of voiceover acting. Some voiceover actors go into the booth and they get a commercial and they'll get paid $2,000 to do that 40-second clip. That is not this work. This work is we're in the booth hours and hours and hours, and we will make ends meet. But that's pretty much it. And that's okay. You have to love, if you're going into this, do it because you really love to tell stories. And it means a lot to you. Don't go into it because you think you're going to be famous. Don't go into it because you think, well, I could read books. Do it because you want to read books. Do it because you want to tell stories. And that's got to be the driving factor.
That was a great way to end that portion of this event. Awesome. Thank you, guys. So we are going to turn it over to our lovely audience here. Does anyone have any questions for PJ and Paige? All right. Okay. You're going to just you can project, but just make sure the mic is, so the audience.
PJ,
Yes.
how many audiobooks does it take to buy a new pair of running shoes?
Okay, this is a loaded question. The person asking this question may or may not be someone I run with on a regular basis. But what they're referring to is I now have 7 pairs of running shoes. Okay. Yeah, no. Is it only 6?
I have no idea.
I don't know. It's so many shoes. So many shoes. So I started this journey because of the person that asked this question. Because I found her to be such an amazing runner that I want to be like her. And so I just started on this journey, and then I got obsessed with running shoes, and now I have a running shoe for every day, for every different type of activity. It is a running shoe for every day. And yeah, the running shoes are expensive, so I need to get back in the booth and record another booth so I can buy more running shoes.
I would say 2 books per pair.
2 books per pair?
Because he gets an allowance.
Like 2. So you said that, empathy is important, and assuming the POV, one of my favorite actors, Mads Mikkelsen, who plays Hannibal, he, saw Hannibal not as bad, but like from his point of view, that, he wasn't the villain. He was just built differently and whatnot. So do you kind of do a little bit of method acting sometimes when you're kind of like getting into a character's point of view?
My method's always a scary word because you say method and people are like, "Oh my god, I have to be the butcher." And I think we all use the elements of method that work for us as actors. For me, that's what I referred to earlier as experiential. You use the experiences in your life and pull them into the situation, imagining yourself in that position. I do not go out and murder people to realize how it would feel to do such. I would feel to do such. But yes, I do believe that same thought process that in my mind, I don't think, and I might be wrong, Mo might say I'm wrong over here, but I don't think anyone thinks that they're a villain. Mo, do you think you're a villain? I don't think anyone thinks that they are a villain. I think that they truly believe, honestly, what they're doing is either right or right for them, like you said. And I think I find that line, and that's a very important line that I was talking about with that empathy, that I need to believe that so that other people can jump into my shoes. So yeah, I definitely believe that, especially when I'm doing villains, especially when I'm doing people who are bad.
Yes.
I make them, in the way I can, the most likable of characters, the most understandable of characters. And I understand why they're doing it. Yes, I definitely need to do this thing that's absolutely horrible.
That's what he said.
And I don't know. I never thought about getting started in narration. It's always fascinated me. I loved it, but I just wouldn't know like where to start. I mean, how would you suggest? You said making connections is great. And you said auditioning as well.
Yeah. So first place I would suggest you go is narratorsroadmap.com.
Okay.
Karen Commons runs that site. It is a collection of articles and information that is invaluable. A lot of it is free. Some of it you can pay for. Narrator.life is Andy Arndt, her company, which offers a bunch of classes from beginner to higher level. Watch Sean Allen Pratt's video and do what he says. You don't have to do it for the full 2 weeks if you don't want to. You'll get a pretty good idea after a few days. ACX.com, create a profile. Go listen to what other people's samples sound like. And then the best training, besides one-on-one coaching, is listening. Listen to your audiobooks. Listen to the people that you love. Like Saskia Marleveld is one of my, Kristen Atherton. They're fantastic. Whenever I need like a reminder to be a person and stop narrating, I go listen to Project Hail Mary by Ray Porter, or narrated by Ray Porter, because, it's so good. It's so good. It's a good book, and Ray Porter is a genius in it. So anytime I need that reminder, that doesn't have to be clean, and we don't all have to have this narrator voice, that is in my brain. Like, I will press play and listen to a couple chapters of that. But yeah, and just do your research. Don't feel the need to dive in, because it's not a fast thing. Learn your craft. Learning Ally. I think it's called Learning Ally. A lot of times they will give you like small like children's books, and it's not paid, but it's good like portfolios. It's helping kids, like that kind of stuff. So there are a ton of good places to start. Just ignore anything that's like you can make $5,000 an hour reading from your bed. So,
Yeah, that's too good to be true.
yeah.
One of the things that she started doing before she narrated her first book was, and while you were narrating your first books, you narrated articles for the blind.
Yeah, I did the Virginia Voice, so I would narrate like an hour-long radio program of different articles just for free.
Okay.
That's a great way, low risk, to really learn the craft for yourself and to find out how your voice would work in that world. Is just narrating for someone and you're actually helping.
It had to be from all different political sides too, but you as the person could not pick a side. So it was a good way to put yourself in another POV from maybe things that you don't necessarily agree with.
That's fascinating. Okay. Thank you so much.
Of course. You just have to know where to look. There's a trash pile of bad information, so finding the good can be difficult.
Yeah. Do you belong to any of the professional organizations like PANA or some of these different ones? And which ones would you recommend for newer narrators?
I am actually on the board of PANA. So I would recommend that. Especially we're delving now into advocacy. Sorry, thank you. Mine normally just sits still. We're delving into advocacy. The PANA ambassador is meeting for the first time, not the first time, but like we're revamping our program to be an advocates for indie authors, bidding down on the ground for places and programs like this at libraries, book groups, finding our own work essentially as corporations try and push AI. So we're trying to push collaboration, teamwork, accessibility without, breaking the bank, giving them proper information, that kind of stuff. The APA is a good place to start, but it is for audio publishers. Now, there are great opportunities for narrators on there. The quick pitch, like that's how I first got my publishing jobs, is their quick pitch speed dating thing where you have 3 minutes to tell them about yourself. And then they give you like information to do reach outs. So very beneficial. Going to APAC, attending APAC, I think it's virtual this coming year, is very, very informative. But you don't have to be a member to attend. Just the non-member ticket is pricier. But the webinars that they have, like when you get a membership, you can watch the webinars from the past, 20 years or however long they've been there. And there's a lot of good free information in there as well. Again, same with PANA. You can watch all of the old webinars that they put up from previous one. So they're all good, and they're all good places to network. And a lot of this is networking. As much as I hate social media, it's good to get on there. Even if you don't want to record yourself doing anything, but seeing how the space operates, seeing what authors are doing, what authors are looking for, what narrators are doing, etc., to grow a business. And most importantly is just be authentic. Don't be fake.
So PANA's good. PANA's good. APA is good. SAG is the main reason you'd want to go. SAG-AFTRA would only be, in my opinion, if you need it. If you need to
like
insurance or any of the other things that SAG gives you.
I mean, they have fought for protections and for higher rates in certain places, so they're definitely fighting the good fight.
Need to go.
And yeah, some in order to work with some publishers, you have to be union.
As soon as you meet
but that's not something you need to dive into immediately,
unless you really need the health insurance. And then there's a way to make that happen. But talk to us later about that if that's your case, because we can go into a whole dissertation about it.
Or contact Jane at sagaftra.org.
It's a real question. I was wondering if, so I just read a book that had 5 narrators. How many have y'all done, narrated with in one single book?
Multiple narrators?
Yeah, multiple narrators. Yeah.
I think the most I've done is 3 on a book. Is that the question? Yeah, the most I think I've had on a book I've done is 3. I was part of a multicast, but it ended up getting pulled because the author could not find the funding she wanted, which really sucks. I was the old lady and I wanted to do that. But
I've done a bunch that have 3. I have the one I'm currently doing has 4. I don't know if I might have done a 5, but I know for a fact I've done 4 narrators. I'm working on one right now. Right now, they're recording me right now. That has 4. Yeah, right now. I'm in the booth. Yeah, that has 4. I think that's the most I've done.
Depends.
Yeah, it's this one that I'm doing is continuous roll synchronous recording, so it's drastically different. There are other ones that are very similar to voiceover work where I just do my one line, and since I'm in a cast of 7, I only have like 3, so I just say my 3 lines and walk away from the project. This is the one I'm doing now. I'm in the booth for 4 hours while everyone's talking, and so it's drastically different depending on the project.
I lied. I do have one with 4. I do have one with 4. They were all dual, so that one was like collaborating with them to make sure that your voices match is the harder part of those.
So my question is, who would be your dream author to narrate?
Dream
If you could get a
author to
phone
narrate.
call from any
Yeah,
author, who would it be?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, good.
Erin Morgenstern. She wrote The Night Circus, The Starless Sea. That's one of those books where I read it and I was like, is she talking to me? And then I was like, Jim Dale, who? Jim Dale, Schmimdale. No. But no, I would probably expire on the spot and not have a chance if I got that offer. But definitely, yeah, Erin Morgenstern.
Help me with the name. The
Jemison? No.
Max from this is how you lose the time war.
Max Gladstone.
Gladstone, thank you. I was
Yeah.
doing the last time. Max Gladstone freaking writing is through this.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say N.K. Jemison, but she is.
probably
I will not get that
get
role,
that.
nor should I. She is a Black woman, and her If you haven't read the 5th season,
Great.
oh my god, it's so good. It's so good, and some of it is in second person, and it's so good. All of her work is just glorious. C.S. Friedman. Both of us would narrate C.S. Friedman in a heartbeat. She did This Alien Shore, which is a sci-fi that was written in like the late 90s, but then she did a not sequel, but in the same universe that just came out a couple of years ago, and those are all so good. But they're science fiction. The first one dealt with kind of an old version of dissociative disorder of DID, but in the realm of that world, it made sense. And then this new one's like something it's infected in, like, because everyone's got like a neuron like headset embedded, and there's a virus that goes out and it starts putting them in these like virtual worlds, and they can't tell between that and reality. So yeah, it's Alien Shore and This Virtual Night are those 2. But she also has fantastic fantasy books as well. Black Sun Rising. So yeah, those are all. But honestly, this is going to sound really, really like, again, just like I'm sucking up, and I mean it. Whenever an author comes to us and asks, it's always an amazing, amazing feeling to be trusted with that, because they did so much work, and they're like, you're the one. Like, really? Me? Okay. Yeah. So.
Do you ever
Thank you.
do you ever hear someone talking and you're like, their voice is so unique, or weird is kind of mean, but
Yeah,
unique, and you're like, I gotta save that in like a bank, and
100%.
All the time.
Yes, 100%. I'll be like, do you hear them?
All the
You
time.
know, and then we're really obnoxious to play video games with or watch TV with, because we'll be like, do you hear that? They were like, oh, she said Monet. Where do you think that's from? I think that's Geordie accent. Like, and we'll just repeat the phrase like 10 times. We're really obnoxious.
While watching the show, we're saying what they're saying back at them.
Yeah.
It's constant. I can't imagine what anyone else in the room.
Yeah,
would
but
do.
yeah, out and about, 100% people listening, not people watching. Yeah, you're all being monitored.
You guys sound like a sixth sense, like you're just like, ooh, like an alert, like, ooh, I hear a voice.
What the coolest part is, we often in this industry have a thing where someone will do a voice, and the audience member will listen to it, and you'll see a review. No one talks like that, and then we'll be out in public and we'll hear someone talking like, that's the voice that no one talks like.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
right there.
Yeah, to quote the inimitable January Lavoie, when they say nobody talks like that, well, I just did. So,
follow up. How do you keep from repeating what you've done for voices in the past?
I don't.
You do.
I use them.
You just do it.
They have a they may not always be the same person, but the placement, the resonance, and that kind of shift, that's all physiological. So I can only change so much. But I mean, I do tend to have a voice that I go to for the best friend if she fits a certain thing. I tend to, if I've got a mother, she tends to lift in the back because it makes her sound a little bit older. But it's still my voice. I'm not doing a whole lot of manipulation to it. But how they say things is going to also depend on their characterization, right?
I think the wonderful part about our job is that the characters are all different. So even when I start from the same point of this is my vocal set that I'm going to do, what they say changes everything about my presentation. And so we have to do honestly very little. The words direct us a lot in how those characters sound anyways. We just follow what we perceive the author's intentions.
I was just wondering what your favorite genres are to narrate.
Yes.
Yes.
For me, it's...
Oh, that was my answer.
Yes. For me, it's a thriller, and it's about that storytelling aspect. Because with thriller, you can really bring the audience in. You can pull them through the story and make them feel things. It's all about making them feel sad and upset or mad or angry or anxious or even happy and relieving those tensions that you build. It's that pull and tug, and that is where the art is, and you get a lot of it in thriller.
Yeah, I like to switch it up. I get bored. So
PJ had like a yes. You're like, yeah, I like to dabble.
well, I mean, yeah, because sometimes like if you get too much of one thing, it can start to feel, to me, it can start to feel pat. Like, oh, I've read this. Like, oh yes, romance has a happy ending, which like, yes, that's supposed to, that's the comfort. Like, but sometimes that can be a little bit like, oh, it's another happy ending. Like, no, sometimes I want a bad ending. Sometimes I want to sob. Like sometimes I want to delve in like horrible childhood accidents that inform somebody's trauma and maybe they don't recover. There's something, it's the empathy in the human condition is not everything is happy. Now, is it always nice to come back to those cozy little small town romances? Sure. Sure. But yeah, it's also fun to kill people in books. In books. Yeah, in books. Cannot speak to real life. Yeah, I think they all, I've been getting into horror lately. Like, so, I mean, horror was a lot of fun. And if I've scared myself, I'm like, yes. So yeah, I did the job. I gave myself goosebumps. Like, ooh, someone check outside my booth. Okay. Like, yeah. We hired them.
We showed up late, so if sorry if you guys already did this, but are there any cool projects that you guys want to promote that you're doing right now?
What we're doing right now. I did have one that just came out. It's a Russian folk horror. It was a translation, and I was super, super worried about it, but the translator got it, and she just posted on Threads that I did amazing, and she couldn't imagine it. So now I'm going to say, go listen to that. I was in tears. I was so worried about it because like it meant so much. It's like I get to use like my Russian accent for the dialogue, but it was Russian. But I had a Russian minor my first time in college, so like the folklore, like I was familiar with it. I got to use like my language skills. It was snarky AF, like because it was also social commentary. There was a chapter, like a paragraph that I sent to him because I was like, oof, timely. And about the perception of propaganda and how you change a story in your mind to fit what the crowd wants to think. But yeah, I was super worried about it. And the translator was like, I couldn't imagine it in anybody's voice but my own. And she's like, and you killed it. So I was like, yay. So yeah, it was wonderful. If you like folklore, it's not overly like icky or anything like that. It's more of a, it's not. That was for Hachette. So I don't have distribution rights for Hachette titles. So.
I would say, I was talking about thriller. I just finished the third book in the Woodsman series, and there'll be 3 more books coming out in next year that I'll be working on as early as next month. They're wonderful little thrillers. I would say they're easy to pick up and digest. And since they just came out, book 3 just came out. Dive in, please.
He's a local author. He's he's in Fredericksburg. He was in Front Royal, so he's a local Virginia.
He's not so far away from here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and
it's all set locally, like in Virginia. I guess a little bit into West Virginia and whatever. But like you'll recognize places, which is
it's lovely writing. He's a really good writer. Really enjoyable to read.
Oh, actually, the one I just did, Little Doves, which we don't have it here today, but it's on our website. Just came out, but that was set where I grew up, or went to high school. So she's talking about certain roads and certain places. Like I've been there, and I get to kill somebody there. Like yeah, so that was fun too.
Yes, please.
I don't have that much money, guys. Like,
Paige, about your shoes now. No. No. So this is a question on the nature of voice acting through narration. Do you have to pre-read your books or do much preparation and planning and like taking notes on your characters, practice them? Like, how big of a process is it from being approached to do a book and narrating it, prepping, planning, and then actually sitting down in the booth to do it?
yes. At least a week. I like to ask for at least a week for me to, and that's if I don't have anything else. So usually I have the script beforehand, but so I can read it, so I can highlight it. If there are accents that I don't have in my back pocket, I need to study them and I need to find a dialect. I just had someone that's like, it's a Cornish dialect. There's nothing on the dialects archive for Cornish. I can get close with like Devon, that kind of accent, and it's close, but it's not. So I had to email my go-to coach and be like, do you have an emergency session for me? Because I didn't realize this was in this book because I was not told to me ahead of time. And luckily he did like a crash course, but I told her, I was like, hey, I need another week so I can actually get this dialect into a natural form without me thinking everything. Taking character notes, because a lot of times we have like an MC romance and there's 13 men and they're all deep and growly. How do I differentiate that? There's a lot of
there's the first prep session, which is reading through the book. For me, it's diagramming some of the things that I need to say. Like I write notes everywhere, circle words that I want to emphasize. When I read through and I know that the sentence doesn't read right to me the first time, I know it's going to happen to me again when I'm in the booth. So I go ahead and give myself directions on how that line is intended to be said. And then that's the first part. The second part is once I'm in the booth, there's a prep session where I'm creating all the characters. Usually we send off a voice sample of every character that we have to the author. And so our first thing that we're doing in the booth is we're designing what these characters sound like. And we'll make a bunch of different files. We'll send them off. The author will listen to them if we're working with the author. And then they'll send it back to us. If we're not working with the author, we'll still do the same process for ourselves. We'll design all of our characters and have character files so that once we're reading through, we can go back and play that, get it back in my ear. Okay, so then I can read it and make sure that my character stays consistent throughout. So, and then at that point, then we can start actually performing the book. I guess no, because I still have to set up all my files. Yeah, then we have to do the software side of things. So there's several steps to prep for me.
He's a little more OCD about file setup than I am actually. So I do it as I go, and he's like, I have them all in one place, and this is how they are written.
I've written code to do it all for me,
which took him longer than actually just doing the project. Right.
It does. I know it's fast.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Okay. So earlier you both mentioned that you feed off of each other when you're narrating. For someone that's new, doesn't have a lot of friends, or maybe is kind of shy sending their audio to people, what do you advise them to do just to make sure that they feel confident in their narrating and everything else?
What's the do you remember the one where they have every Sunday they have you can go up and narrate?
It's every Monday.
Every Monday.
Clubhouse, the app on Clubhouse. There's an audiobook room, and at noon Eastern time, Brian Telesti, I don't know how to say his last name. I'm sorry, Brian. Jenna Kino, and usually they have a guest person. But you volunteer to read like a minute long sample, and they have a genre that they pick like each week, and you'll know ahead of time. They list it in the description, so you could go and then you can volunteer to read, and they will give you feedback. And it's always it's free. It's just a free like workout group that happens every Monday. They're very uplifting, and they're very, very good. They know what they're doing, so that's definitely a great free resource to take care of. And also, there are a lot of people go, so it's a good place to meet and connect with other narrators as well.
On the bonus side, you get to listen to a lot of other people to find out what you think is working, what might work for you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think he's asking because he's interested in narrating.
I love it.
So she has interviewed a lot of authors. I'm always there listening in.
Uh-huh.
This is the first time I'm hearing, narrative aspect, so I wanted to know more.
Yep.
But I don't have
Thank you,
any
Josh.
questions. Anyone else?
And also again, like when I talk about being on social media, like just go in, like you can go in and linger in the hallway. You don't even have to be like, we narrate live sometimes with permission. And you can hang out in the hallway and listen. You don't have to interact if you don't want to, but you can. You can come in, you can ask questions, and you just realize that, they may be working, so it might take a minute, but that's another excellent way to narrate with people and get to know people who are doing this as well.
Great. Any more questions? Going once, going twice, or forever hold your peace. All right. All right. So thank you guys for all the wonderful questions. Thank you guys for giving us your insight and your experiences and a little bit of jokes here and there. It was really great. PJ, you did great.
I'm not the funny one.
You're pretty funny too, Paige. You did great. Now, the next part is very exciting. Paige and PJ are going to do a live narration for us. But before we do that, do you guys need a second?
So this is a clip from As Above, So Below by D.M. Darcy. It is a dark fantasy, kind of romantasy, but the romance is not the point. It's a fabulous book. It's book 1 in a series. We've done books 1 and 2. Book 3 will be coming out next year. And this is an example of, it's solo narration, but it is also duet because he does all the male voices. But he does not have a POV until the bonus scene, which is at the end of the book. So if you want that, you have to buy the book. But this is from the prologue.
And it is very loosely inspired by The Little Mermaid, but taking an entirely different twist on it. You're about to meet the main character, who is named Vess, and it's named our Christmas tree too. We just bought our Christmas tree. It's named Vess. But this she is the Little Mermaid in this world, but she's a demon and a reaper.
She is a reaper, the death bringer. So
a little different, not the traditional telling story.
This is the end of the prologue.
Send for the healer!
Send for the guardian! The orders ripple through the field, echoed by various voices as soldiers shift, fighting to gain ground, to get closer to their king. In my chest, the hunting instinct grows feverish. It won't be much longer before I can collect his soul. The first of the soldiers reaches Thalion, leaping over the dying horse to remove Thalion's helm. Bright crimson blood pours down the side of his face, and he begins to cough. Of the 2 creatures dying, I have more sympathy for the steed. Kneeling beside the creature, it stares up at me with wide, dark eyes, nostrils flared with labored breathing. Standing on the precipice of death, it sees me clearly now. Deep red blood leaks from the gash in its ribs, showing no evidence of slowing soon. I wasn't here for you, I whisper, reaching for its nose once again. But I will give you painless release. With my touch, it looses a long breath, its eyes growing unfocused as its chest deflates. More soldiers begin to emerge from the fighting, creating a protective ring around Thalion, trapping me inside with them. If only they knew the depth of their mistake.
You should leave.
Thalion's voice rings out, weak compared to the orders he'd shouted moments ago. Lifting my gaze from the horse, I'd expected to see him speaking to the soldier beside him. Instead, vibrant, violent eyes meet mine.
Your Majesty!
The soldier believes his king is talking to him.
I cannot go!
He barks the word, the force of it causing yet another coughing fit. His eyes don't leave mine as I stand. Hesitating, the soldier pulls himself to a stand and reluctantly backs away.
Not yet, Deathbringer,
he says, his voice so low I barely hear him. Unable to ignore the call of the hunting instinct, I leap over the horse, wings extending, and land, kneeling beside him. A small, knowing smile curls my lips. You signed a contract. My eyes narrow. There is no escaping the god of death.
I think you'll find there is.
He laughs, letting his head loll back against the stone. A strange sensation unfurls itself in my chest, a tugging, similar to the hunting instinct, but it doesn't lead me to Thalion. Instead, it beckons me to the right. Head swiveling, Thalion smiles.
Brother!
He wheezes, a sound that would have been lost in the cacophony around us had I not been so close. His chest heaves and falls and does not rise again. The light in his violet eyes fades, his stare growing blank. Wasting no time, I plunge a hand into the center of his chest, curling my fingers around his soul. With a firm pull, my hand breaks free, fingers wrapped around a palm-sized ball of red light. It's color proof the soul has been promised to my father. A sanity-shattering scream tears through the air, the sound laden with loss and mourning. It appears Thalion's mate is somewhere in this fight, and their bond now lies broken. The radiant red glow of the soul illuminates the area around me, washing over Thalion's pallid face. A flash of a silver blade streaks toward my throat and freezes centimeters from its mark. Confused, I freeze, gripping the soul and my innate tight.
Return him.
A male demands, pressing the blade to my throat. The voice resonates in my chest with a familiarity I don't understand. It's as if I've heard it thousands of times. Too stunned to move, struggling to make sense of the feeling, of the situation, I remain still. The blade rises, forcing my chin up. Through the corner of my eye, I trace the blade to its wielder, and a pair of golden eyes stare down at me. Do not make this mistake, mortal, I manage through clenched teeth. How in the nine hells is this possible? This Fae is uninjured, not standing close to death. He should not be able to see me, let alone threaten me. He doesn't move. Instead, he studies my face.
Return him, and I'll send you back to Natharis quickly.
Unable to stop myself, I stand, the blade following me, my throat, even as I turn to face him. Brave mortal doesn't realize who he's threatening, I laugh, holding his stare. He stares at me still, and I feel exposed, judged, vilified, perhaps rightfully so. The odd pull in my chest beckons me to walk forward. It would have me impale myself on his blade. I firmly plant my feet against it, clutching Thalion's soul to my chest. None of this makes sense. The boldness of his eye color steals all of my attention. Deep amber gold, ringed with black, set in a beautiful Fae face. A strong jaw, high cheekbones, dark brows. He isn't simply beautiful. He's a dark, haunting creature. The kind of mortal I would seduce into a contract for Natharis to ever allow it. Who are you? I ask, destroying the silence hanging between us. What are you?
I've finally found you,
He says softly, lowering his sword. He sounds just as incredulous as I feel. Stepping back, suspicion snakes up my spine, and my innate vibrates in response. I may have to kill this Fae. I should kill this Fae. With a swift swing, the Fae buries the end of his sword into the dirt and extends an open hand. An invitation? From a mortal?
You belong here,
He says, an unexpected note of pleading in his tone.
with me.
The pulling sensation sears through my chest, and I take another step backward, fighting the notion. Glancing around, we're surrounded by chaos, the small circle created by the soldiers keeping the area clear. It's as if he stepped into the veil, into this realm. How is such a thing possible? I've taken too long. Natharis is going to start asking questions, and I don't know how to explain this mortal. I belong to the Hells, I finally reply, shaking my head. They're words I've never believed, words Natharis won't let me forget. Behind me, my shadows rise, swirling violently, opening a door to the Hells. The stench of sulfur and smoke reaches my nose within seconds, and I step backward through the portal, holding the Fae's stare.
I will find you.
He lowers his hand, and his words sink into my skin. Is this one of those fabled Fae promises? Because it sounds more like a threat. My shadows slam the door shut between us before vanishing like morning fog in the rising sun. I'm left standing, alone in the hells with the soul of Thalian Witherborn, unsure of everything I've ever known.
Wow.